This podcast encourages and empowers you to create your own unique real story, develop your own unique real statement, and discover your own unique real self. The power is yours. Good night, Rosemarie Barnes. How are you doing on this wonderful, beautiful night?
Absolutely wonderful, because it's our job to make the day wonderful.
I totally agree with that. What part of the world are you in right now?
I'm on Vancouver Island in Canada.
Sweet. Well, do tell
Yeah.
us, Rosemary, which of your talents is responsible for us connecting at this specific time in history?
Well, that would be the executive development portion of my company, Confidence Stages. And so that's about leadership and presence and public speaking and all of those things to get yourself making a difference in the world.
Ooh, so you're helping individuals achieve this, yes?
Yes, I am.
Ooh, what does that look like? What does that system compose?
Well, it's about understanding, first of all, that confidence doesn't come from being successful. Confidence is the result of knowing you can get yourself out of trouble. And if you've never been allowed to, because you've been protected or your situation, if you don't ever have a flat tire, you cannot know for sure that you know how to change that tire. So there has to have been a problem to overcome.
No.
Confidence comes from that, not from, yay, I can do it.
I love that. That definitely puts me in a driving space, be it we're imagining a car that I'm driving. Yeah, it puts me in the driver's seat, which is pretty cool. Now, please do explain to me the logo behind Confidence Stages. There's a diagram there. What is that?
It's it signifies a stage, no matter what stage you're on or in. So I teach confidence for whatever stage you're in your life or whatever stage you have to be on.
Okay, I love it. Now, why did you start and not have it? It seems as though there's like a behind the stage, and confidence is connected to that. Does it go
Yes.
that deep, or am I just digging a bit too far?
No. Confidence comes right all the way back from knowing your values.
And then you get onto the stage.
And then you can get onto the stage. If you don't know yourself, how can you possibly help anybody else?
I love it. So who did you learn that from, the ability to be confident?
My parents. When I was 12 years old, I smashed the family car. Now, we didn't have any money, so belongings were precious to be respected and taken care of. And I had driven in the country, driven mom somewhere, came back and try and park the car. Well, I was so worried about the driver's side, I neglected to notice the other side of the car, ripping out the door jamb and the car door handle. My father came home and all he said to me was, "Now, is that nice?" He said to me, "Now we go fix it. Now for the exciting part." And he took me outside and he taught me that we can take the inside out, we can hammer it back out. And so then he said, "Now get back in the car and go get your mother." "No, please don't do that." "Yes, go in the car." So he gave me a chance to rebuild my confidence after I had failed. I would never have realized that I could do that if I hadn't failed first.
That's beautiful. Wow. Wow. That guy must be a great guy.
My father is old, and he is still teaching. He's still teaching me lessons every time I talk to him.
That's amazing. So in spite of the fear, in spite of what could happen, why will you continue to repeat that skill of being that person who exudes confidence?
Yes, if you see, there's a difference between confidence and arrogance. Arrogance is when you think you have the answers to everything. Confidence is when you know you don't, but you can find a way to learn it.
Wow, amazing audience. You're hearing it live from Rosemarie Barnes. Whoop, whoop. Loving this already.
There we go.
Well, do tell me one other thing that you've done consistently over the last 3 years, please.
Over the last 3 years, I have continually, every goal, every target, every step along the way has been to champion others to excellence. It is the driving force behind what I do. Here's what I say. If you've got a really good idea and you can't share it well, that's a shame. But if you've got a brilliant idea and you cannot share it, that, my friend, is a tragedy. So I teach people to be able to share their thoughts in a way that others can receive them. For the last 3 years, I have been dedicated to that, and I do it with every breath I take.
How does it make you feel?
It makes me feel one of my sacred gifts is teaching. When I am able to see my clients succeed and reach their goal and influence others and become successful, I am successful.
Why is the best place for someone to connect with you, Rosemarie?
My website, www.confidencestages.com, will get you in touch with me so quickly.
Amazing audience again. One more time. It's Rosemarie Barnes. Rosemarie, let's switch gears for a moment. Let me invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water.
Oh, I love the Caribbean.
Ooh, Rosemarie, what is your earliest childhood memory?
I was about 5 or 6 years old, and we lived in a wartime built house. There was a warm air grate, and when you stood on it, the warm air just whooshed right up into your no-no regions. And I remember standing there, and my nightie was just blowing up around me, and I was warm, and I was safe, and I felt like a princess.
Why do you think this memory is so clear?
Because I felt that I could be anything I wanted to be, and that if I imagined myself to be a princess, I could be a princess. And if I imagined myself to be wearing a beautiful gown, then I could make that happen. At that point, I felt that the purpose of my life was bound only by my imagination, and that anything was possible.
How do you see that memory connecting to who you are today?
I agree with it completely. Completely. We are all bound by imagination. If we can imagine it and we can communicate it, then we can make it happen.
Can I offer an interpretation to the thought picture you created in my mind with that memory?
Sure.
I love the way that an individual can stand on a stage and not be stable. And I connect that to your dress blowing up, right? And it can be uncomfortable to a certain extent because there is the potential to be revealed. But at the same time, I love the fact that it's part and parcel of what is required to enter or to step onto a stage where things can go either way.
Yes.
But at the same time, it's part of it, isn't it? It's revealing yourself to a place that helps other individuals to gain their confidence so they too can feel as though they are a princess or a prince.
Isn't that exactly the truth? And I have the great privilege of helping people learn how to turn those butterflies that are in their belly. I get to teach them how to make those butterflies fly in formation, so that the nerves turn into excitement, and that buds into glory, and that buds into sharing that. Those butterflies fly away, and they just give beauty to everyone that they fly over. That's the brilliance of being able to get up on a stage with all the vulnerability that comes with it, and know that you can make a difference to the greatest number of people.
Definitely. Well, if we fast forward to when you were 12 years old, what was your favorite song?
Well, okay, now we're going to be talking about my age. Way back then, it was If I Had a Hammer. And it was a folk song, and it was on what was then the hit parade. And it was my favorite song to the point where I actually got up at an assembly at school in grade 7, and I sang that song in front of the whole school. We had just moved there. I was the new kid. I didn't know anybody. So let's just break into that world with a great big red cape and get up on stage, shall we?
Love it. Definitely the thread has been all there all through your life, hasn't it? Of
Yes,
what's
yes.
necessary to be a speaker, what's necessary to walk in your confidence. So that's beautiful, my friend. All right, well, Rosemary, we've arrived at our destination. But before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form. So it's yes or no. We're going to move pretty quickly here. Are you ready?
Yes.
Rosemary, have you chosen someone to pass on your talents to?
I I pass my talent on to every single one of my clients. That's what I do is I help them find their confidence and speak it in their way so that they can share their brilliance with others. That's what I do. That's what I train other people to do because without we're sort of just walking around in a mud puddle. Let's rise above.
Are you married?
Am I married? Yes, I am.
All right. Do you have children?
Well, I had two children. One unfortunately passed away 3 years ago, uh, and he was one of the best public speakers naturally that I had ever seen. My daughter and my grandchildren now are following that way. Especially my oldest granddaughter. I actually take her with me when I speak to help her gain confidence and speak her brilliance to the world.
Do you believe in God?
No, I don't.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Yes, I call them my brain trust.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
I don't. Not because I don't enjoy TV, but just because I have other things to do.
How about 3 hours a week?
Oh, absolutely, I do. There are wonderful movies and wonderful things to see on the television.
What about screen time, the phone and the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
I'm on the computer a lot for work, but it certainly isn't 8 hours a day.
Rosemary, if you had to share with us your own unique real statement, a statement that represents who you are, Rosemarie Barnes, what would you say that is?
I would say that Rosemarie Barnes is a leader. And in Rosemary's opinion, to lead well is to communicate well. Communicate through providing information, inspiration, and then an invitation to come play in the sandbox. That's Rosemarie Barnes.
Love it, Rosemary. This was such a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
Only that I so appreciate what you're doing, Angel. What a wonderful conversation this was. And what a fabulous opportunity to say hello to the world.
I appreciate you as well, my friend. I had a ton of fun with this conversation.
I
Rosemary
as well.
Barnes, thank you for being on What is Inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
This segment has been brought to you by Amazel Enterprise.